Hola, bienvenidos a la clase de español. So today we're going to start your very first Spanish class. So today what we're going to go over is some things that are really important in conversation, some basics that you need to know or things that will be useful in kind of surviving if you needed to. So we won't go into a whole lot, but the things that we are going to cover today are introductions, how to introduce yourself, how to introduce someone else, to express your name. We're also going to go briefly into talking about how I am doing, how you are doing, how they are doing. And then we're going to finish up talking about the numbers 1 through 10 in Spanish. So kind of the structure of this and what you can expect is that I am going to say some statements and then I'm going to follow with some questions. When I ask a question, and you might be thinking, now how am I going to know if she asks a question if I don't speak any Spanish? Because I'll be speaking in Spanish. But when I ask a question, I want you to stop the video, to pause the video, and answer the question in Spanish. If you can answer it in a full sentence, that's great. If you can answer it in one word, that's okay too. You're not necessarily going to understand every word that I say, and that's okay, because you'll learn those. But this is a way that we're going to start. So we're going to kind of take this question and answer form, and you'll notice by a lot of my body language when you need to pause the video. So if I ask you a question, if I ask you, what is your name? Then you'll notice by my body language, I might move my hands kind of like this, furrow my eyebrows, make a confused face. So you can use my body language as a hint, as a clue for, oh, she's asking me a question. You can also use body language such as when I put up my hand and ask you to stop, to para, and to answer the question. So if you see this, you know that means you should pause the video as well. I might not do this every single time, but you can use that as a clue as well. So that's just a little bit of a basic structure of this. It'll be a fairly short lesson. If you get confused, you can always rewind it, or if you forget something, you can rewind it and go back and practice parts over and over again, which is great. And the reason, like I said, this alone is not going to teach you how to survive in a Spanish-speaking country, but this is where we're going to start. And by the end of this lesson, you should know how to introduce yourself, how to introduce other people, how to say how you're doing, how other people are doing, and you should be able to do some basic addition for numbers 1 through 10 in Spanish. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So, hola, me llamo Rachel. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo te llamas? Él se llama Martín. Su nombre es Martín. ¿Cómo se llama él? Ellas se llaman Elena y Juanita. Sus nombres son Elena y Juanita. ¿Cómo se llaman ellas? Ellos se llaman Elena y Martín. Sus nombres son Martín y Elena. ¿Cómo se llaman ellos? Nosotros nos llamamos Rachel y Juanita. Nuestros nombres son Rachel y Juanita. ¿Cómo nos llamamos? Tú y esta persona. Tus nombres. ¿Cómo os llamáis? Tú y esta persona. Bueno. Así, you can use that to introduce yourself, to talk about your names. And now we're going to switch and do some greetings, asking how you are, how another person is. Buenos días. Yo estoy bien. ¿Cómo estás tú? Ella está más o menos. ¿Cómo está ella? Ellos están mal. ¿Cómo están ellos? Nosotros, nosotras, Elena y yo, estamos bien. ¿Cómo estamos nosotras? Tú y Juanita estáis mal. Tú y Juanita estáis mal. ¿Cómo estáis vosotros? So I hope you've paused the video at this point for each of those. We just practiced asking people how they are, and that you've, after each of my questions, that you've paused the video, answered that. You can go back and repeat that several times to practice talking about how different people are. You may have noticed it was different when I was talking about me than when I was talking about Elena or Juanita or Martin or tú. Even though it's different persons, different people, I also used not just different expressions of how people are, but I used different words to describe that. Ahora vamos a contar. Vamos a hablar de los números. Los números 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Otra vez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Y ahora vamos a añadir. Yo primero. 1 y 5 son 6. 1 y 5 son 6. 2 y 3 son 5. 2 y 3 son 5. Yo he practicado, ahora tú vas a practicar. 3 y 7 son. Ahora para el video y contesta la pregunta. 3 y 7 son ¿cuántos? Nueve y 1 son ¿cuántos? 8 y 1 son ¿cuántos? 4 y 3 son ¿cuántos? 2 y 4 son ¿cuántos? 8 y 2 son ¿cuántos? 5 y 3 son ¿cuántos? 6 y 1 son ¿cuántos? Bueno, este es el fin de la lección. Gracias por juntarme. Buen trabajo y nos vemos. So that is the end of our first lesson You can go back, practice that several times. I encourage you, make sure that you're answering the questions out loud, that you're stopping the video when I indicate that, or when I ask a question. That's really going to help you a lot, and it's going to help you be able to speak faster and to understand better. Así, gracias, nos vemos, adiós.